Guys, well, welcome. Third day of the LAN yesterday against Na'Vi. Didn't quite go the way you expected it, but now you find yourselves against friends and scrim partners in Burrito. So I'm kind of curious, how do you feel going up against someone you know so well?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult, but it's difficult for us, it's difficult for them because we know each other very well. We share everything, about the other team to improve, and it's gonna be a tough match, it's gonna be a fun match. I was listening to Puleuli yesterday, and he said it was a classic Brazil-Argentina. So it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be good, and the best team wins.
So was there anything specific when you went up against Na'Vi that you learned that you're going to be coming into today, knowing, just making sure that you don't make any of the same mistakes?
Yeah, certainly. It's like Na'Vi plays so much aggressive, and when we were trying to defend our right side, they were pushing the left side, and has miscommunication in our team because of that. It's like it's so, but at the same time, it's so beautiful to play against them because it's so clean, it's so perfect, and you can learn about it. So that loss was tough, but at the same time, it was really good for us. It's like we will come back and we will try to win this game and against our friends, and we try to make some better next time.
Now, for this next matchup, specifically in the way the weekend has gone as well, FRZ God has been very big in being able either a success story or whenever he's not able to quite get going, it seems like the team kind of suffers. Is there a big plan to try and get him rolling a little bit earlier, try to get him the Drogos of the Bomb King?
I don't know. He doesn't play just with blast damage. He plays with everything that he needs to be. And of course, he prefers the blasts, and everyone knows that. But we try to do our stuff, and depends on the traffic, depends if we have something new or not, I don't know, sometimes. And we try to do something different, I don't know.
Well, you're going up against friends that you've known and played against a lot, so hopefully you guys will be able to come out successful, or at least be able to come out learning something. Either way, we'll see you later, and good luck in your games.
Thank you.
Hearing from the Brazilian team here, Spacestation Gaming, and of course they play Burrito, the LATAM favorites from Worlds. I'm Evan Rayner, that's Nick Keogh joining me. How you feeling, man, about this set?
Pretty good. I think that, we've had one set already, and that scrim partner matchup, I think, is a really, really good recipe for an incredible set like we just saw.
We kind of have seen that 2 sets in a row now, because G2 and Envy could be considered scrim partners for how much they actually play each other. So it's going to be another battle of that I think can go the distance in terms of the best of 3s. They both know each other very well. Burrito are prepared. They have a lot of respect for SSG, and vice versa.
I think going into this event, I would have given this handily to Burrito, but after seeing the way that Spacestation played, and after seeing just the respect that Burrito themselves have given Spacestation as a whole, and FRZ God in particular as the best blaster player in the world, those are big words, those are fighting words, and he's got to live up to them.
They are, and I think, if you have that type of impact coming in your games against him, then you're going to realize that maybe there is a threat, so to speak, on the side of how Burrito have been playing, how their meta shifted. But coming into this set, they did not have the same meta as they do now. They realized that they thought things were a little different. They got beat first, they got to the loser bracket and realized we had to do some homework. So let's hear what they had to say as they got ready for this crucial game that might send them home.
All right, well, welcome. Third day of the LAN. You guys have been making a pretty good run through the lower bracket, the losers bracket, which is something that you've kind of gotten known for at this point. But you're finding yourself against a team that I remember you saying you wanted to meet in the grand finals at the end of it all. Spacestation, your scrim partners. How do you feel about facing them so early?
Okay. The first thing that comes to my mind feels bad because they are like our brothers, scrim partners. We face the same in each tournament. I know how they feel, I know how much work they have on this. So the first thing that comes to my mind feels bad. But it's a tournament, it's a competition, and we are going to do our best. But as I say in the previous interview, we would love to face them on finals, for example, but not now.
Well, coming into this, today we have 3 matches specifically, Fnatic and Na'Vi, G2 and Envy, and then you guys versus SSG, where it's people who play each other all the time. They know each other like the back of their hand. Do you think that because of that, a lot of your games are going to be a lot closer because you know each other, and that drafts is going to be a little bit different because you're just going to have to take it to that next level to beat someone you know so well?
Yes, it's going to be really hard because it's like a 50-50. There's no advantage in any of the teams. So
When you have a scrim partner like them, when you play 90% of the time against them. You know everything about their picks, their weakness, what they do, how they rotate, even what decision making they do. So it's going to be really hard on the draft. You know.
Yes, we are not scared though.
No, we're not scared, but at the same time, it's 50-50.
Yeah,
Just
and
a coin
it's
flip.
best of 3. It's like
Yeah,
few maps only.
it kind of hurts.
Yeah.
So when it comes into the way things have been playing for you, and just one last question before we end up wrapping all this up, it's just been FRZ God specifically, I think, from SSG that has always been the one that stands out. And usually once he gets rolling, the rest of the team can fall in place. Otherwise, it seems like they have a little bit more of a rough time. Is he going to be something that you're prioritizing in terms of trying to get rid of?
I mean, at first God is like the superstar player from them.
He's really good, but they're all good players, so
Yeah.
we cannot underestimate anyone.
It's not like we need to just focus him, you know. Everybody is really good right there. Mito is really good. Red Child is really good. Didn't is almost unkillable support. So Hi-Rez is really good too. We cannot just take care of first God.
Well, it's been a great interview. It's been great seeing you to this point, and we'll see you. Good luck in your games, and hopefully you can come through with a win.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Freeze God, FRZ God, good, but they're all good. That's what Burrito says. They know they've got a big task ahead of them as Rude is over there helping them in a big way by scrolling through
He's
Twitter.
Twitter, dog.
To make sure they're ready to go. Shout outs to that. Now he's putting in so much work. A man's got to check his timeline every now and then.
And they wouldn't be here if they weren't all really good. I mean, only the absolute units have made it this far.
Yeah.
There's the boys on Burrito, a little smug look on Fuzzy Logic's face. Space Station will be looking to wipe that off. And this is going to be, you know, that scrim partner battle. And I think they talked about it, Phoenix talked about it earlier, you know, everything, how they rotate, how they pick, what they're thinking, why they're thinking, and who tilts, when you'll notice the differences in their gameplay if they're starting to get emotional, things like that.
To me, this is really this is kind of one of those where, you know, I think a lot of people want both of these teams to succeed. And so if you're hearing this set, two ways to look at it, you know, obviously the better team's going to go through and it may not be your team. But at least one of these teams is going through to the losers final, which is a big deal. That is a big deal because it means that either Brazil has had a standout tournament out of nowhere or LATAM is doing it again.
Feels like it's one of the only times in the last set that has gone the distance, and if you can really call it the distance in a best of 3, the boys said it's going to be over pretty quickly here. Only 3 maps.
That's crazy. I wish we could see more, but we do want to start it up with the picks and bans. Champion draft on your screen right now, and it's Burrito who will have first ban, first pick. SSG responding with their second 2.
A lot of early Frozen Guard, no surprises in this draft, no surprises on this map. I don't think we'll see many surprises between these two teams because they just have seen it all from each other at this point. And Nara is going to be banned away, though. That was pretty impactful for SSG. It's been pretty impactful just in this tournament, but
that's fast.
What a difference a set makes. You know, we'll see sometimes all the front lines are banned, sometimes none of them are banned. It really just matters. And it's funny to say in a best of 3, but these set metas evolve.
And it's homework, right? It's the ability to know what they play well. And I'm sure the Burrito has burned SSG with snipers a couple of times on this map. So they're both banned out. The Makoa and the Maeve go through, and that's got to be feeling good for SSG.
Those snipers taken away, no chance. And that's why I think they go with that first pick, Cassie, so early. Leon should be a pretty big pick between these two teams as well, but no healing has been drafted yet, so nobody wants to go into that. Genos locked in for SSG. Makes me feel the way, I don't know, they haven't run a lot of 3 DPS so far this tournament. I think they could. I think Ares is, that's what he came out as, an incredible DPS player, but he's shifted pretty stalwartly into that off-tank role.
And it's worked well, and the con is going to be available for them, and I love the way they last pick their tank. They last pick their support. Not their support, their supporting frontliner, and they do not play that triple DPS like we see in Europe. So if those teams end up clashing, it will be interesting. Leon and Maldamba here locked in for Burrito.
You know, I think this is a good one to watch for everyone at this event because no one's found a great answer to the Maeve yet, and Leon, I like to think she's a pretty good answer to stuff like Eevee and high mobility stuff and things that can be hard to hit. Maeve is kind of similar to Eevee in that, right? She's a very small character. She moves quickly. She has 2 dashes, 2 sprints, 2 of everything.
My question is, do you think, you know, everyone's going death and taxes, but if Maeve's the real problem and you just let Cauterize do its thing, is an Alacrity with something like a Swift Jade, kind of, you know, Eagle's Emerald style play, what we saw become very popular.
I definitely see your thought there, but I feel like because Maeve is more often than not in your face, you don't need Alacrity because you're going to be hitting the closest target with that dash anyway.
Yeah, just the auto aim confirming, but we will need more than that to confirm a win here in this set. Best of 3. Let's get it started.
La Batalla de Sudamerica, the Battle of South America coming at you guys. I hold shift. Vox. Wow. Could we have anything better pairing? We got 2 South American teams. We've got me and you.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to an incredible set coming up here, folks, and interesting drafts coming through. Interesting pacing as well. Feels like Burrito Esports and Spacestation Gaming. They know it's around lunch, trying to speed run the way through so they can actually get some delicious victory here as well.
Maybe some Speedy Gonzalez action happening
I think
here.
that was the fastest draft we've actually seen, but they might have to put that kind of temperament on ice on this Frozen Guard map to see if they can slow things down a little bit, play it a bit more carefully. Burrito are playing in the Maeve, but you've got some interesting talents coming out here. Let's take a look so far, and it is the
Death and
Impulse
Taxes.
Cassie, Death and Taxes on the Lian. Double Wrecker, though. That's really important here, I feel.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was wondering about with the Death and Taxes coming out. Would we see the Cassie and the Leon also trying to chew through these shields? That's the biggest win condition when you have this point control from a Makoa and a Khan, is can you keep that survivability up? Usually that's going to be done by shields, and off the bat it looks like Burrito wants to just rush right on forward and move toward the right-hand side. They want this wall control. This is really pivotal as far as being able to shoot into the site, and off the bat, Terminus is going to move right on into Makoa, who has to shell spin and use the shield away. Now Shaolin a little bit out of position. A big overhead Shatterfall comes in, and he will withdraw away, and looks like he will do it safely, and Ares will find the first blood, this time onto Akate.
Oh, Sadak very, very low here right now. A big flank coming out of Freeze God, but there's the Decimation. Terminus just bot potential coming through. Ares has found 2 in a row, though. Rachao as well helping out. That is 3 for Ares in a row right now, and Puleul about to fall as well. Triple kill right at the end. 4 out of 5 kills for Space Station Gaming.
It's the mobility of this front line right now as it's really capitalizing on those outside fights. You saw Burrito try to flank through that wall side. They get sniped out as Ares pushes right through the middle, separates Burrito in 2, and they're able to find a big kill into Crimson, which allows them to take down the front line last. 60% now counting up for Space Station Gaming. The Brazilians coming through looking for a way to get this first point, but Fuzzy Logic wants to find something on the left. The rest of his team, though, is actually moving towards the perspective right-hand side. They need to find a way to get a kill. Makoa's here to try to get a pull, and he'll find it, and that's an instant delete onto Fuzzy.
Freeze God there waiting as well. This Space Station Gaming team working in tandem pairs right now to be able to secure kills very easily. Rachao in a lot of danger right now. Akate has a good line on the objective, but just doesn't have the damage by himself currently to be able to get a lot of kills. 1 goes down, but 99% for Space Station Gaming. Overtime and Heat Haze to secure. This one's only going one way.
Yeah, and I like the call of the Heat Haze, even though there really wasn't anybody left. It's just that extra damage output if it's needed. Really, really well played. So at the 2:27 mark, we get our first point in favor of the Brazilians of Space Station Gaming. And this is the interesting thing, is as we take a look of where do you go to break this underpass, which direction? And right now, it's actually Ares. He finds Crimson, who forces out a Slither and gets the kill. FRC God with the Shaolin. He's got everyone lined up. Ares will trade away the fall, but still, the fact that Crimson is down here, Vox, is really huge for the push.
It's the fact that it's just buying space, right? All the frontliners suddenly have to regroup, go away from the objective. That was a thread the needle pull, though, as well. It's Freeze God finds Fuzzy Logic on the back of a dredge. Anchor here, planted down to take out the shield as well. Sadak in a lot of trouble. Maeve just obliterates the Stigala, and this is the push not being contested at all for its entire duration so far.
Dyron actually picks up a kill with the space and time coming out from his Genos. 1:40, we're about 75% of the way through this push. And FRZ God, he wants to get in this high ground if I'm looking at it right. He wants to make sure no one can sit up to the right side for free. He's poking this little alleyway while the rest of his front line is pushing this payload through the base. Someone has to contest. They're trying to do it from the high ground here, Fox. Who can get there to take him off?
Well, Puleul is just buying time for the time being. But oh, look at this. Big overpower comes through. Akate tries to use maybe the Enlightenment to survive, but it's not quite enough. FRZ got in a lot of trouble here as well, but a beautiful Commander's grab does buy the peel that they need, and FRZ God goes in with Heat Haze here. Puleul, one more shot will take them down. Ares gets that kill, and now Space Station Gaming, can they find the push?
Fuzzy, he's able to find 2, though. Can he stay here and try to find this fight? A couple of headshots ring through for Ares, and they find the second kill. Now it's gone to Crimson. He slithers. He's got no more survivability, but just in time comes the Terminus. Can he stay on the point? It's a big moment as Akate is able to trade away Diren, but he does fall himself. Now the Ancient Rage tries to chew through the rest of the Massacre Axe, and Space Station pushes it through on the kill.
Oh, shift as well. Yeah, that ultimate was burned and not quite enough time. The reactions and the payload proximity towards the push point just slightly too close. No way to get through, and oh my goodness, Space Station Gaming with that 2-0 already. What a beautiful performance from them.
A small millisecond. If Fernando could have delayed that just a little bit longer, that reanimate could have been there for a second life, but that's not the case, and that was the play from Ares that really set up the point. You saw him knowing that there was no big damage dealers in front of him. He says, let's just take the fight right to him, and he's able to find 3 because of it. Really strong early aggressive play from SSG, and Burrito, again, on this map yesterday, Fox, they didn't look as great as we normally anticipate.
No, Burrito overall just still haven't looked like the same team since we saw them last at Worlds, but now, looking at the itemization between them as we do get to the next point, a lot of master riding coming through for Spacestation Gaming. Crimson actually has an item on this round, though. Didn't have one on the first push overall, the first point capture, which might have led to some cooldown issues, but really minimal right there with Kronos 1.
This is a different push for Burrito. All 5 of them are mobbing the right-hand side again, but they're finding some success. But the Dread Serpent does come out for Burrito, trying to find 1 more kill. Minnow, though, has found himself 2, and that's on again to Crimson. This was the storyline on Frozen Guard yesterday, was how are they not surviving? How can they not protect Crimson? This time through, though, the front line of Burrito too strong on the point. They have that capture boost that gives them the 4% per tick instead of the 3, so they're capturing at a very aggressive rate, now surpassing 50%.
A huge amount of focus firing from Spacestation Gaming also came out specifically, or excuse me, from Burrito, came out specifically to deal with Makoa from the side of Space Station there. I really like that target focus shift. You remove the displacement, the big crowd control, the big issue throughout that previous point cap, and all of a sudden you open up the fight, but it's 81% for Burrito here in Space Station. I'm back.
A pull and a Void Grip will put Sadak in a very bad spot. He is able to keep himself sustained, but Ares is also trying to shoot him from behind the power siphon, will do so successfully as FRZ God takes down both damage dealers. Now Ares, he wants to pull Crimson back into the line of sight, and that'll be a full team kill at the cost of only 1 body for Space Station. They delay Burrito at 81%, and now they will match that and then surpass. I don't know if Burrito's going to have a chance to even recontest.
No, you got a Khan who's sitting out here zoning it. It doesn't matter how much your Leon is firing into them. Ares has a 4750 health pool. He can sit out there all day and just dismount whilst face tanking that damage shift.
And he's got the shield, and he's got the heal, and he's got some mobility, so if he needs to get away, he can. And I think that's why we're seeing Khan come so much to fruition here late in this tournament as far as being an impact champion. Damage dealt chart, look at the Makoa. That's not something you typically anticipate, but well, we'll take it if we can find it.
And you know, this Makoa Rochao has been playing around Ares quite a lot as well, receiving that extra bonus damage from the battle shout coming through from Khan. Mittal finds Puliulu that might look to reset their pounce. Sadak can't find the kill, and Mittal picks it up. Double kill for the #1 ranked player in the world for, I think, 2 seasons running now.
The guy's a monster. I mean, rise and grind is the motto for this Space Station Gaming team, and Middo has definitely been the one now trying to push into the backline. He's got some damage dealers and Crimson again in front of him. He's got his frontliners also setting the tone, and FRZ God's going to help out by taking down Fuzzy, so now pushing forward. Can he find the pounds through the shield? He will. Puliuli, 1 HP. He'll drop away. Sadhak low. A double kill for Middow. Can he find the triple? Crimson's off to his right. Hekate to the left. Midnight comes through. Enlightenment finds absolutely nothing, and FRZ God will plan up and find the kill. We could be looking at a 4-0.
This is a 4-0 as Space Station find the payload conversion to take the first map away from Burrito Esports here in this best of 3.
Wow, what an incredible set of tempo from Space Station Gaming after a lot of people expected them to perform, I think maybe just a little bit better yesterday in their last game. They don't hesitate coming out against Burrito. They come in swinging, and a lot of those punches connected for some massive blows.
Can we just talk about Mittal's Mave right there? There were 2 things which we saw in that final push. First and foremost, not a lot of daggers connecting initially, but it provides a lot of disruption towards the enemy team who are forced to sidestep those daggers that are coming in, and that just allows the Makoa and the Khan to get up in their faces and burn them down, as you can't dodge all of those shots at close range. Secondly, Trigger Discipline on Pounce as well doesn't kill the Fernando out of Commander's Grab with the Pounce the first time, but also doesn't use the second Pounce reset, saves that for the Terminus, recognizing, hey, I can just get the kill with my daggers here, and uses their skill cooldown rotation exceptionally.
Well, it's a beautiful start for Space Station Gaming. Burrito, well, their backs are up against the wall. Desk, why don't you break it down just a little bit more for us?
Dominant performance, and I mean, there's no other way to describe it. At this point, I was mentioning to you back behind where we were eating some lunch, I think Maeve is a first pick potential here on this map for sure.
I think so, and I don't know how big of a pick it is for Burrito, and that could be an issue for them going forward. If they're not comfortable running it, even if they do pick it, it's not going to have that type of performance. On top of the fact that Maeve gets to run into probably her 2 hardest countered front lines. She just rips apart this Terminus and this Fernando. Very comfortable picks for Burrito, but adjustments need to be made.
And it's been that way kind of all tournament. We've said Burrito look a little different than we expected, and they have been proving themselves again and again and again. They don't want to be a one-trick pony where they show up at Worlds and have a great performance, and then it's all just underperforming from now. But it's really been stolen by FRZ God at Midtown. I mean, these guys have been damage dealers on par with anyone in the world.
Just thinking back to when we see second pick come through, Makoa Maeve.
I never feel
and
good.
It's like, oof.
When do you ever feel
Cassie's
good?
great. Cassie's great. Don't get me wrong. Love the girl.
Love
Love her
Cassie.
to death, but
Great huntress.
big oof.
Big oof there. And I think that's always the problem. When you look at it, I mean, that's Rubu takes the win in the final game with the Makoa. And now you look at, again, a Makoa and a Maeve. So much setup, and it's so much flexibility. Makoa can be a damage dealer. He can be a front line. I mean, he could be a support with his peel.
Maeve Khan is pretty spicy, dude.
Yeah.
That's a little combo that's seen a good amount of success. He's such a big body. He's got a heal for her, a damage boost, already a champion that will rip you apart faster than anyone is going to be comfortable with. And it's all about, you know, kind of hit on it a little bit with like the Fernando Luminary comment. You have that internal clock of like how long you expect to survive against something, how much time you think you have, and that just goes to show you that's why Maeve is so good against Terminus and Fernando. She just goes right through their defenses.
Yeah, I mean, the 460, a result of that Luminary, but then she's also getting the Con, and that's turning it to 535. She's hitting for 535 a dagger, so she's hitting for almost 1,100, like instantly.
No reload either.
Oh, my God.
No fall off. It doesn't matter. I mean, they have to make the change. That is really, really solid stuff, and very showing that Space Station are watching this tournament. They are evolving, and that's something Burrito did so well at HRX. We got to see it, though. They've got one game to make the change.
That's what's so scary about these moments. But, I mean, if any team is going to do it against any team, you'd expect a scrim partner to have an opportunity. They have another map here, completely refresh this up, and it's Jaguar Falls, so different map for sure. This is going to be a draft that's super important. And as we've seen players mention, you know, these games are won and lost in the draft in this tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible to see because I think Space Station have evolved a little bit quicker so far. Burrito have to find that way to maybe catch up, and hopefully that scrim partner mentality doesn't, you know, put them in the ground here because they're like, oh, we think we know what they're going to do, right? And they've evolved. They've moved on.
Or it's like, do we feel confident doing this, which maybe we would pull out against the team that doesn't know us, but this team knows us and we're worried they might counter it? A lot of mind games, and I haven't seen Burrito this unconfident in a long time.
I think it's an adjustment period, right? MV have been handling their success well, and now Burrito, this is the first event where they're expected to perform. They are expected to be a top dog for the win at this event. And I think that pressure in combination with the fact this is best of 3, in combination with the fact that Space Station have never had that breakout moment, they're maybe watching with jaded eyes now at Space Station take up the mantle of the losers bracket, hope for Latin America, South America, to be specific there, and I think SSG have really just taken it in stride so well.
Leon banned out from SSG. Really interesting. A lot of respect for that champion in Akate, but it also really means that a Cassie, Makoa, a Maeve will get through. And that's important because Burrito banned the Inara here.
Somebody's making it through, and the Drogos taken away from FRZ God. It's been a hell of a map, hell of a tournament for that champion, and you don't want to let Freeze God get too comfortable, but at the same time, I mean, Bomb King can be just as impactful, but I think a little bit more manageable here.
I don't know what you think about this, but they let the Makoa
Maeve again,
and the Maeve go through again. I mean, are you feeling that this is just
Okay, well, there is those, I will say, devil's advocate, there is moments where if they are saying, all right, this is what went wrong for us, wasn't necessarily letting those champions through, it does take some experience to be able to identify that and say, yes, we just lost hard with this, but I think different map, different draft, maybe different time, we can adjust with the same types of picks. And again, Leon's banned out, Cassie's picked up here. They got to get their guys comfortable. It is that elimination game because this is just a best of 3.
I could see a Genos, Bomb King, Khan coming through on the side of SSG and finishing it up. But this time, Burrito going to take the Genos. And they know that. They know that worked in favor of the Maeve. With the Khan, it turned it into just disgusting amounts of damage. And they're going to trust the Determinus is enough here for Sadak on this map.
But again, Maeve might just go straight through it here. And I wonder if SSG even bother taking Fernando here, or if they want to walk Burrito into another Fernando pick.
Oh.
They'll go for the Khan again, and this is looking like almost the same draft, at the very least the same 10 champions.
It's really smart, though, I think, for SSG this time because they need a little bit more flexibility. The draft damage-wise hasn't filled out for Burrito. So instead of picking your BK, which, you know, you can still pick, you're going to pick your front line you're assuming is going to go to. There's not really a lot of better options, but you may be able to flex on another DPS if something shows up you're not expecting here from Burrito.
And the love for blasters just isn't quite there for Burrito, so I don't think SSG are feeling much pressure to be able to pick up that Bomb King. I think they could scoop it last and just be like, it's just the way this is going to go. And the Xin comes through for Burrito, likely for Hecate, the Fernando again for Burrito. And I said this yesterday that, you know, Terminus and R, it's tough on Fish Market. Terminus, Fernando, it's tough into Maeve. But if there's two guys that I trust to do it, I guess it would be Pule and Sadak.
And maybe it's just buying more time, right? Maybe it's just not allowing her into the back line. We know how good Frozen Guard is for her because you can't stop her. She could just prowl anywhere, dash anywhere. She will get to your back line. But in Jaguar Falls, a little bit more precarious for her. And you have to deal with those fireballs. You have to deal with the Terminus Massacre Axe if you're going to have an impact on the point.
There hasn't been a super clear, like, this champion is going to just absolutely destroy Maeve. What Envious did well on Stone Keep against G2 was just the way they set up and the way they played, controlling the space and therefore controlling Maeve.
Well, it's going to be a great game, too. I cannot wait to get it started. So let's send it to our casters here and see if SSG can move on.
Controlling space, I would say Spacestation has been winning that positioning battle so far.
Yeah, well, Spacestation are also sitting here after coming out of that draft phase. They're sitting here going, haha, I've got Maeve McCoa. Why can't I hold all these wins?
Again, where can I hold all these wins? And, of course, Sean Dorse is out there saying the only direction is up. Can Spacestation find a way to continue that trend? I have to say, looking at this draft, if I'm being completely trying to be as neutral as possible, I have to tilt this in favor of Spacestation.
I'm going to say it's less of a case of can Spacestation find a way to continue this. It's can Burrito find a way to stop them at this point?
Yeah.
With the draft that Burrito has, playing into the McCoa, playing into the Maeve, there's so much pressure put on the Xin Cassie to perform. They cannot miss. And I'm wondering if maybe they're just going to rush something like a morale boost Guillotine Xin to be able to deal at least with some of the pressure.
It's
so far,
tough.
no, it's a Yomi.
Yeah, Yomi. So looking for a little bit of that long distance poke as Hecate is going to run the blast shot. Of course, Leviathan, Street Justice coming through, Royal Subjects, of course. And again, the Ares on this con has looked really good as well, especially when he's paired up with a Maeve. And to be completely honest, if McCoa can just essentially solo frontline and let this Maeve con combo just run together, who's going to be able to stop it as they look like they're going to push on this right-hand side, which will put them in the torch room perspectively. They're going to use a third-person vision to try to see if they can toggle for this viability. And yeah, they're going to push right on through as they get the information that Burrito's coming through the fall side. But look at that, Rochelle is able to pull out Fernando first, which actually forces him away. And meanwhile, it's a full pincer as Ares and Maeve come from the back line, and they're trying to clean up. Hecate will trade away one, but it's still Crimson is the first death again.
That's really bad right now for Burrito. They've got to restabilize. They've got to maintain some distance between all members of the team right now, but Maeve is searching mid tower, wants to try and close the gap, gets poked out, retreats for the time being, and Hecate will turn his attention back towards the objective.
But how much damage is he really going to be able to secure as Maldamba is sitting in here for safe in this torch room? Well, finally, Sadak able to put a lot of damage to Mido's way, and he's going to have to at least wait for a heal before he can recommit. Now FRZ God wants to push through, and this right-hand control is where they're moving for. In the back line, you see there's going to be a Xin. He's able to whirl away, but Midao has found Puliuli. Hecate trades away no one more, so we have 4-on-4 action, 66% for Spacestation, but it looks like Burrito at the moment is at least on control of the point. Another pull coming out, but it's going to be actually the side of Deeren falling. It was close for a second as Crimson was in a very interesting spot, kind of sitting near the middle of the point. Hecate getting poked as well, but this poke battle is going to go the way of Spacestation more than you would think.
Right now, absolutely. With those Royal Subject sticky bombs that can just hit round corners, and Maeve who turns a 5v5 into, ha, you thought? Just like that, everybody falls down. 72% for Burrito right now. Decimation Terminus is doing a lot of damage, but Rachao is collapsing. There's the bonus damage buff coming through from Ares, and Spacestation take control.
And that was just Spacestation saying, go. Convert on the Terminus, focus down him. He turns around for a second. You see 3 red bodies right in front of him, and that's going to be enough to take him down very quickly, like he was made out of wet paper and a hot, stingy breeze.
You know, looking at the damage dealt charts right now, as Spacestation have captured successfully 1-0, we do have the Maeve a little bit lower than I'm expecting. Fuzzy Logic is keeping up in terms of damage, which is a good look so far, but oh, goodbye. Terminus Shatter falls off the map right there after being thrown by Overpower.
And the Shatterfall is not enough distance gain to get back on the map, so he dunks himself into the deep abyss, and now looking to push this a little bit further. But again, this is a very interesting spot to be so aggressive because, again, the payload is pretty significantly behind where they're positioned, just crossing over the halfway mark in its journey. And it looks like Minnow will actually understand that they need to back up. Woo! Through time and space, we'll try to put this defense back into control. They will trade away, but again, it's Rachao falling away. Midnight coming out. Can they find a way with the Dread Serpent combination? combination. That's what Spacestation did so well in day number 1. These combination of ultimates, it comes through again. They find both frontliners.
And it's not just that as well. It's the Commander's Grab keeps on being used by Ares right now on the Khan. We've seen this put a lot of Khans in a very vulnerable position before, where the Khan themselves is the one that gets focused down, but all you're doing is you're serving up Burrito Esports on a platter for this Maeve to chew through with her pounce.
And there's just not been that aggressive frontline playstyle successfully positioned for Burrito. As once again, Midao just makes Puliuli drop so quickly. And now looking at Sadak, who's also low. He does have a reanimate and might have to use it. It looks like he will pull the trigger. Coming back through, they need to find a way to contest this point. Still 1 minute and 3 seconds. The front 2 wheels, the payload, are about to push this through, but they do find Dyron and Ares. A big solid hold just in the nick of time for Burrito.
Oh my goodness, 54 seconds left on this clock. One more push from Spacestation reliably, maybe 2 if they rush this one, and then hit into overtime. Burrito need to position very excellently on defense here. They've got a zone before this initial choke point with the base being broken already by that payload cut. They want to keep Spacestation at arm's reach, but how do you do it, Shift? We're looking at these different groups of players. Akate playing alongside Sadak. Fuzzy Logic is so defensive here.
At this point in time, as you take a look, I think it comes down to the ultimate economy. The Spacestation game does not have much, but they find the first kill. It's on Akate. Fuzzy Logic now swirling into the back line. He needs to find somebody. He's so far away. You said it exactly. Can they find a way through? FRZ and Midao find themselves too, and Fuzzy Logic has no way of contesting. He can't get back. Spacestation push it for essentially free.
Just gives that one up right there at the end, and at that point, I think that's all you can do. Fuzzy Logic trying to dive back in is going to be picked off, give the enemies more ultimate charge, and at this point, Burrito are looking at this going, well, we've got to make use of combat mechanic. They've got to find a way to be able to get onto the objective early, get some chip capture going, and then hit the gas, then use the ultimates to wipe, and not provide Spacestation with a way of coming back into this fight.
And I get to ask you the question here, Vox, because again, that capture boost, when you're down by a certain amount, it captures faster, for those that you're not familiar with it. If you have this capture boost, if you're Burrito, do you just say, let's just go straight to the point and force them to kind of have a 6th man in that capture percentage?
I feel like what you can do is you can play very well around the torch room, which is initially what they look to do. You can send Sadak onto the objective, you can rotate them with Puliuli and make sure that these frontliners don't just get burned down by a Maeve right here, but you've got to be very careful of that Midnight, which will disrupt this initial push.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It looks like Burrito wants to kind of control this fall side, and Rashao is just actually controlling it by himself. Midnight comes out to cause some distraction, but Rashao will fall. Sadak able to convert that kill on the back end of Fuzzy Logic's damage. 27% though for Spacestation, and now Burrito, if they can't find the kills, they need to find a way to get back to point. Fortunately, Sadak finds a 2nd kill, so it will be enough to give them the numbers and the map control. They'll start to come back in this, and you can see how fast that capture percentage is moving. It's already to 31%.
Shift, I really don't like the fact that Midao didn't back right out of that fight right there. We've mentioned previously with Spacestation and Burrito, they don't regroup and just disengage from fights quite as well as some of the North American and European teams, where that's such a standard tactic. Midao got picked. It's taken a few extra seconds to get back to the fight, and while Spacestation do have point control right now, Kate stays alive. Oh no, look at this. FRZ God comes around from behind, tries to dump the damage in. The bombs do hit. It's a double kill for the Bomb King already. Looking for a triple as Fuzzy Logic just resets right there.
And again, you talk about that tactical retreat. If you're Burrito, you see the overpower come out. It takes care of Fernando instantly. And this could be really bad as he... Whoa! Puliuli might be taken to the farm here as FRZ God's able to find one last shot. 99%. And again, that lack of tactical retreat kept Burrito from getting in a full 5 ever again. It's 3-0 now for Spacestation. They could potentially put this away.
We saw it happen with Spacestation when they didn't retreat fast enough, but they had some capture already. It wasn't Burrito with 50% on the objective and then just zoning. It was Burrito playing from behind again and again and again, and they're unwilling to kind of try and take initial control of these fights, whether that's on the objective, whether that's on defense now. Look at how much they're being bullied by this Makoa.
Yeah, well, he gets bullied back. The blast shot just taking away so much of his health pool so quickly, and the both front lines of Burrito push forward to make sure that kill gets confirmed, and now a little bit of poke from Hecate, but you can see he's not able to stand here as free as I think he would like. He has to use the dodge roll just to get back into a more favorable spot. King Bomb being used, FRZ got looking for a way in. Midao finds Sadhack, so this is an opportunity now for SSG to flip the turns and come right back through with some push of their own.
Problem is, it's the reanimate that was just used there. Sadak's already low, being forced away. Maeve activates Midnight, and that'll block some of the spacing coming through from Spacestation Gaming. Burrito being forced back right now. Sadak surely going to fall here. Almost takes down Ares, who should be focused down here if Hecate can confirm another shot, but beautiful shell shield from Rachao right there. The battle shout comes through as well, and now it's Freeze God forcing to break the base. 3 kills roll away of Spacestation Gaming, and Burrito just can't pick up the pieces.
That was such incredible peel for Rachao to shell spin in and put the shield up at the exact right time. FRZ God pushes forward. That's actually insane, and now this is an opportunity as Sadak is pulled out, and he's got no mobility to really move back. He's trying to swing the Massacre Axe through, but Rashal's happy to take it because he's got an Ancient Rage if he needs to use it, and this might just be the time to do it. Unfortunately, though, Burrito is able to find 2 kills, one onto Freeze God, the other onto Aries, and that's going to recall for a little bit of a fallback. But again, Rashal's doing such a great job of peeling, trying to help his teammates get out, and they'll be able to do so successfully and find a kill.
Overextension there from Burrito Esports. They know they've got to zone aggressively, but you can't play a low health Terminus into a Makoa based on the fact that Makoa can pull you through your power siphon. Really dangerous play from Burrito, but Puliuli comes back in, finds some zone. Fuzzy Logic helps clean up Aries, and with 20 seconds left, this should be a defense so long as everybody gets dismounted here.
A lot of stipulation there, Fox.
A lot of should-be's. I mean, there's 15 seconds now. They're starting to make their way in, but again, if you can dismount, you can provide some zone, but look at this on the right-hand side of the map, respectively, for defense. Makoa's already there, and they're forcing their way into base.
And Aries was mounted up all the way until he got to that face caricature on this, what is the left side defense. A trade comes through as through space and time finds Rashad. Mido's trying to find the confirmation on Fuzzy Logic. Will actually be put into a pretty decent spot to do so, but very low. And that's one last shot from Fuzzy Logic to confirm the kill. A 4-on-4 action, but can they find Crimson? If he drops here, this very well could go the way. Oh, it looks like FRZ God and Fuzzy will actually get 2 each. I don't know. This is going to come down to whose front line can sustain the longest. Nice counter on the Dredge Anchor there.
Makoa has Ancient Rage, though, and that's the critical one right here. But there we go. Sadak takes out Rachao. Rachao doesn't want to use that Ancient Rage. And a nice spike to hold Aries in place as well. Allows Burrito to defend successfully. Shift, they've actually got a point on the board this game.
And it kind of hurts to say that that's the first point, not just of the game, but of the set for
I'm blown
Burrito.
away.
Yeah, this is, again, the Space Station Gaming, you know, they really impressed me in their first showcase. We didn't know what to expect from these guys. You know, we see them have dominance in their region all the way through the spring in their PGS format. But coming into an international LAN, you know, not having a single win internationally is got to put a lot of pressure on them. They come out, they impress, and they look just as collected as they did day one here against Burrito.
Big question for me right now is Burrito and frontline. Sadaka sitting at 5, 9, and 11, getting a lot of damage done with Decimation, but Puleule,
Yep.
0, 10, and 6. What are you participating in kill-wise, and what is your positioning doing that is letting you be burned so easily?
Yeah, Space Station is just making a farm out of Fernando right now. I guess that would be a chili farm if
Pretty
hot
spicy.
chili.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that.
I'm trying to match up to your puns, and I'm just not able to do it.
We're getting there. It's also just don't react to them. But that Dread Serpent is a beautiful reaction coming through from Space Station Gaming. Puliuli does find Freeze God, though. Sadak tries to retreat to provide a bit of peel. Oh, the shutdown! Cross swords right there. Sadak finds a double kill after taking out the Ancient Rage. Gets the triple kill. And of all of the people who is letting Burrito hold on right now, for me, it is this Terminus shift.
And we've been talking so much. Previous to the tournament, we had all of our eyes on Hecate and Fuzzy. And talking with these guys, specifically those two aforementioned players, are like, no, you guys need to be watching Sadhak and Puliuli because they're the reason we're able to do it. Ancient Rage does come out, but it's a little bit too late. Not able to touch in time. That capture boost, as we said, just too much to come back through. And now it is axe on axe damage. Both Makoa and Terminus will fall, but regardless, it's Burrito getting themselves their first payload and looking to make this potentially a tie game.
And really importantly right here, Burrito, they kind of all wipe, and that's okay at this point.
Yeah.
They've got that extra 300 credits every time you capture an objective, folks, in Paladins. If you're not familiar with the game, and if not, better follow that tutorial, folks. You do get 300 neutral credits, which you can put into your item store. Burrito, they died right off that cap. They're going to be able to come back into here, and if we can actually take a look at items, we should be able to see if they've picked up anything extra to help themselves go along, and here we go. Cauterize 3, Rejuvenate 3. Crimson also has a Chronos 3 right now, and this is so valuable for this solo healer Genos.
And the extra boost to the damage for more players. He's going to have that up, that astral mark on so many different targets. It's going to help the overall output of the entire team. A minute and 30 seconds. The payload's starting to get moving once again as it approaches the halfway mark in its endeavor towards the potential tie. Hecate trying to find some poke on the left-hand side, but Aries is happy to accept it and actually move forward himself. The Midnight comes through, looking for a pick in the backline. Again, this tandem duo of the Maeve is coming through, and FRZ God will actually submit himself to help out with that cause. They find the kill into Hecate, and now the backline is completely open. Throwing holes through this offense like Swiss cheese is SSG, and they will find nearly a full team wipe in staggered fashion, which is important.
It's so critical right now because Burrito, they're wasting an extra potential push with that stagger currently. One thing that was noticed from the item items, but also from the duration of that Midnight, is that Akate on Cassie has now, as your primary Mave counterplay right now, has gone into a Resilience 1, reducing the duration of Midnight right now so he can return fire and maybe help protect some of these frontliners. If you can keep Puliuli alive,
well,
which hasn't really been happening too well so far, or maybe Sadak, who's comparatively been having more of an impact here, you might be able to pull off something, but look at that collapse from Mitao right there. Fuzzy Logic forced to retreat as well.
Yeah, and Sadak, you can see he wanted to get aggressive, and they actually pays off slightly as Puliuli's now here as the front line continues to kind of go back and forth like a baton passing between runners' hands. 20 seconds, though, and again, Vox, this would be a very, well, endeavorous journey, I think, for the offense to tie this up at this point. The payload has retracted back to about the 1/3 mark on its journey, and now with our third commentator counting down from 5 till overtime, it would be very ambitious to get a tie here.
And it looks like Burrito are going for it. They don't want to give this one up. They've got all their ultimates charged, and Spacestation are missing on some charge right here. All the Burrito are doing, unless they hard commit for this push in its entirety, are feeding Spacestation Gaming the opportunity to defeat them even if they have comeback mechanic.
We'll see. I think it's going to take just one kill to potentially open up the conversation for ultimates. Although, look at this. Sadhawk in the backline wanted to get aggressive to open some space for the rest of his team, but he gets punished almost immediately. Puliuli will fall shortly after, and now Midow's on the janitorial duties of cleanup, and he'll be able to take down 2 more at the end of that round. And again, you mentioned the ability to get that ultimate charge. Before this fight, Maeve was at about 35%. Now she's only a couple more daggers away from having that Midnight again.
And that's such a fallacy, it feels like, from Burrito Esports, because they could have let that one go. I mean, what are you committing for? It's maybe even better just to play hide and seek around the map and keep yourself safe in that circumstance. Not something we see many teams do often, but it's something which actually throws me back to old District 69 in the European days. It's a tactic which they had occasionally used of going, well, you just burnt all your ultimates, we didn't get the payload through, but we've got the advantage, so let's not give you anything.
And these kill streaks now for Space Station is what I'm tuned into as they get into their late game itemization. Rejuvenate's coming across for just about everybody with the exception of Dyron, who actually has a level 1 kill to heal and a level 1 record, because why not?
This is really important as well, because look at the Cauterize coming out of Space Station Gaming. There's one on Burrito right now. Sure, they have kinetics coming out from Cassie, and maybe they also have Puliuli on the Fernando picking up something. Oh, hold that thought. Through time and space comes through. Ares is in a lot of trouble. Reanimate from Sadak. King Bomb to respond from Burrito, looking as Freeze God tries to take them down to keep them at arm's length, but it's just not working out too well.
A great Immortal popped as well from Fernando just to make sure that everyone stayed alive through all of that crowd control trigger that was coming out for the side of Space Station. They're able to survive now the Midnight as Mido tries to peel away and try to find these last lingering kills, but no one's able to find the kills for Space Station, and it's going to be Burrito at 69% with the control, and now moving forward, trying to, as Space Station. Hikate's by himself. How did this happen? They were all 5 up, and they just kind of separated as if there were 2 negative ends of a magnet running up against each other.
Purely because Space Station was able to output damage shift because of the shell shield that came out of Rachao's Makoa, blocking off all the impact which Burrito could have and allowing this Maeve, this Bomb King, to free fire. Now it's 87% and rising for Space Station Gaming. So close to capture, but Terminus is back and Sadak has been able to contest. They could buy a way back in.
And Space Station is trying to aggressively zone as much as possible. They finally get back in the point, 96%. Can anyone touch in time? Here comes the billow, but it's Space Station Gaming. They find a 2-0 map set win against Burrito. They're scrim partners and potential rivals, and it's going to be Brazil moving through one more step closer to Shondor's prediction of a Fnatic SSG Finals. So far, that tweet is aging well.
I did not expect this to be the outcome based off of the prior performance we've seen of both of these teams at other LAN events, other international events, but Space Station have done nothing but overwhelm everybody's expectations so far, and they've been a pleasure to watch. The execution has been on point. The changes that we've seen since the first time they were playing in this LAN through to now as well, the tricks that they've learned from some of the top tier teams and how they're employing them has been fantastic. And that journey will only continue from here.
Will only continue indeed. And look at the camaraderie between these teams. That's just a lot of love down in South America. This you can't help but smile looking at these guys. Wow, what an absolutely incredible moment here in Paladins competitiveness. That's really awesome to see. Big props up to both teams. They're run of respect, and I think at this point, you just found the 6 most biggest Brazilian fans on the side of Burrito as this Brazilian team tries to trek through for a potential championship.
And how can you look at it any other way? Again, that camaraderie from your scrim partners. You never want to face them early in the tournament if you can avoid it, but they know each other inside and out, their play styles, and they have put on an incredible show for us, but alas, one of them must go home.
Indeed, and Pretty Hair and Evan, you guys talked about Space Station learning and adapting as they've been through. Well, what does that prove to you guys?
Honestly, that was a powerful moment, I think. between Space Station and Burrito. It just shows what these guys are really here for. It's much more than just a game. It's passion, it's support, it's this community, and you can see ultimate respect.
Space Station has 10 guys on their team now. This is one big family. This is one big team fighting for that South American win. Burrito wants it just as bad for them as I think they did themselves. That's why, yes, they're disappointed with this loss, but ultimately they do want to see their boys go on and be successful.
And I think that just speaks volumes to what they mean to this community and what everyone in this real community is experiencing when you see a team that, as you've worked with and you've battled through adversity with, to see them exceed, it feels like you've done it yourself. So real big congratulations to them, and I think it's a great showcase of how, it doesn't have to be all toxic, it doesn't have to be all BM, it doesn't have to be that way.
Talking a little bit about this game, though, Space Station's performance was absolutely electric. They simply played as a team way better than Burrito did, for sure. They're the combination and of even not ultimates, but like the battle shout off the back of the hook was the reason Pule Ule is 0-10 there. He was getting exploded by so many things.
And I mean, you have to say the Makoa and Maeve let go 2 times in a row. I walked out there into the hall with all the other players from Fnatic and Envy. I was sitting with Rock Monkey a little bit. People are just like, I don't know how they got these drafts. Like, this is just the most insane draft. And you could be looking at 2 talented teams at the same caliber, but drafting ultimately decided this game, in my opinion.
FRZ God was like 16-3, I think, at one point on the Bomb King. We talked about how Drogos is really good on this map, but Bomb King can get absolutely out of control. He gets to this spot right here, 10, 15 units away from his targets, and he is absolutely pegging you with damage.
Yeah, the Royal Subjects pickup is great because of the small proximity of this map. You can only stand so far away from each other. He's getting a lot of value for these bombs, and his positioning is so good. Rock Monkey actually was telling me, I wish I could be like this. Jump in and just kill everybody.
I know, it's pretty incredible, but that's a big playstyle change for Rocco, and it's funny that you say that because that's actually what Burrito talk about when they talk about FRZ God, is that he positions so well, and then when he comes out, when he pokes his head out, because he knows he can kill you. And unfortunately for Burrito, he was poking his head out a lot that game.
Well, let's get to the real big story of this, because it is sad to see Burrito go home what feels like kind of early, especially only playing best of 3s. But now Space Station Gaming have done something big. They have gotten 3 wins in a row, now over the semifinalists at HRX, still a good team, clearly, taking down G2, one of the top teams in North America. Talk about how this might really be their moment.
It could be their coming out party, and now I think Burrito had that moment at HRX. It's their time now. They're Lindsay Lohan and Mean Girls right now. It's all eyes on SSG.
Well, let's see what they have to say about their triumphant victory over their scrim partners. We are standing by with SSG.
Well, we're back here with Space Station Gaming, and I just have to know the feelings of camaraderie that you guys have with Burrito. Kind of walk us through the emotions you guys were feeling at the very end as you're kind of all huddling up and embracing each other.
Yeah, we are very friends. I mean, I was like saying to them, like, let's make a circle and I have something to say to you guys, because it's really hard to defeat these guys because it's our brothers. We wanted to meet in the finals, and I said, like, now we played for you guys, So, yeah, that's it.
Going back to another thing then, about thoughts going through your minds, you put on an incredible performance in map 1 of Frozen Guard with this Makoa Maeve combo that just dealt with everything in front of you. What were the thoughts going through your head, and what were your comms like on your team when you managed to net that as your first picks for map 2 of Jag Falls as well?
Actually, don't know how to answer that. I was really nervous. I think was the tough games that I played since I came here. Because we know each other and we know what the both teams can do against each other, and it's like I was expecting someone to come around me, and I was shaky at the first moment. In the second map, I was I don't know how I can say that. I was less nervous and just play the game and focus on in the same targets and just came around.
About the Makoa Maeve, I mean, we know them. We know how to draft against them because we were training every day, and we knew that they wouldn't ban the Maeve because they don't like Maeve a lot. So they left the Makoa and the Maeve, and let's do this, guys. Makoa Maeve.
Speaking of drafting, and this was an interesting thing that both Rain Day and Pretty were talking about, you guys banned out the Leon in map number 2 after having some good success against it in map number 1 on Frozen Guard. Kind of talk us through the mindset of why that ban came out from you guys.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we know Ekate is really comfortable with Leon, and in the first map, it was other things we had to ban, you know. And the first one, yeah, the Leon ban now, we can do it because they're gonna ban Inara, so let's ban Leon and let's see what they do after.
Also, it's because Frozen Guard, his snipers is pretty strong.
Yeah.
And in the Juggler Falls, he can use the snipers. Sometimes you can, but it needs to be a specific comp. So Leon could be more aggressive and give more trouble than a sniper. So that's the ban.
Interesting stuff there, guys. Now, having taken down Burrito Esports, you're moving forwards from this set in the lower bracket to face off against Team Envy, who took down G2 earlier today to start the whole day off. How comfortable do you feel going into this set? Is this something where you've got some nerves riding on now?
I don't know if I'm nervous against them. I mean, they're pretty good. They're amazing, but I don't know. I just the first game is always the tougher ones of the day, and when the seconds is just more comfortable, and I think we're good.
Yeah. I guess Envy was the toughest screen we had in this year. I mean, we faced Fnatic, Na'Vi on screens, and I don't know, Envy is really great, but we can do it, and we're comfortable. We just beat Burrito, and let's see what happens right now.
Well, let's see what happens. Well, congratulations so far. It's not done yet. You guys have to live up to your team owner. Sean Doris has got a lot of expectations riding on you guys. We'll see if we can get you guys one more pass into potentially the finals. Best of luck, of course, and go get ready for the next one, all right?
Thank you.
All right.